Hey guys, it's Michi here from Simracing Expo 2025. Welcome to the walk over, the walk around about the Simracing Expo in total. We're gonna get started straight away, and I'm trying to do this as structured as possible, but please bear with me if I screw it up. It would be so me. Anyway, we start on the first booth here to the right, PXN. They have brought shifters, pedals, all sorts of sim racing hardware equipment. Disclaimer, it's going to be hardware overloaded, so to say, here on Simracing Expo. On the other side we have Simtrax. They are a Swiss company, I believe, here with an actor racer as well, as you can see. And yeah, this is just the beginning, obviously. Here on the right hand side we see a 3DOF system by Koch SHH together with some shifters. This I think is an interesting one, a B-haptics. Feel every corner, feel every race. I think these guys are coming with some vests, as you can see here on the screen. The yellow dots is where the current pressure is happening on the driving. Wristbands also for effects, so maybe that's something I'm going to take a look at some point. But certainly interesting stuff. Here is one of these vests. So they give you, I don't know actually whether that is like with a little bit of electricity or how it actually works. Maybe I'll find out. Down here on the left hand side we do have Wolf Racing. They have a lot of sim rigs, some of them on rolls, some of them being mobile, triple screen setup. Actually, that is a flight sim right here. As we can see, a yoke, a Boeing steering column, throttle positions. Not sure what kind of simulation that is. Might be Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't 100% know. Anyway, these guys are heavily into not only sim racing, but like simulation in its entirety. Also showing very different alloy profiles here. Very interesting indeed. Then Sensit. That is a very interesting booth, because as you can see, they do have a motorcycle simulator. So if you're a MotoGP fan, this is probably your booth to be. But it's not only that. I think I've never seen anything like this before. If I'd be entirely honest, it looks like forklift simulator. Actually, Young Heinrich, that for sure is forklift brand. And also, actually that looks quite close to our forklift that we have in factory. So this is interesting over here. It's like a total different world. Still simulation, not sim racing in the first place, but simulation. Then here on the right hand side we have VRS with their partners, a lap time challenge, a motion rig by Vero Motion. We're going to try one of these over the weekend. Next up comes BDH Race Sim hardware, and they've just released the first ever gearbox with motion, and it got released and presented this afternoon. So basically it has a motor, it has like a stick shaker, so when your engine is about to stall, the gearbox, like in a manual transition car, would start shaking, indicating you that you're about to stall the engine. Right, then we have Sensit Haptics. Yeah, I think they may have something inside their seats. I am not 100% sure, because there's this pillow out here. So yeah, I think they have their haptics built in the sim rigs themselves on the back end pillows. Then on the right hand side, coffee shop. This is where you're gonna see me. Here on the left we have Rennwelten, like a merch shop. From Simracing Expo. I think they've partnered up. We see also, is that a Radical? I think that's a Radical down there, isn't it? So yeah, that's interesting stuff. Then, this is particularly interesting. Here we are at Thermaltake, and you know, Thermaltake is a company inside hardware building. They brought their own cases, their own gaming machines, including some QR codes so that you can scan, buy, order, and configure. Isn't that interesting? CPU usage and fan RPM as a dial. Like, you know, lots of play stuff for big grown men and women from gaming. However, the real part of this show is their selection of steering wheels, selection of pedals. They come with 3 different direct drive steering wheels, 6, 15 and 25 Newton meter. And actually, they also got some gloves. So they're going big time into the world of sim racing. And that's not only it. As you can see right here, Thermaltake also produces their very own actuators and their very own motion rigs. So Thermaltake could be a potential hardware partner that is giving you literally everything, starting from a PC, giving you the base equipment for sim racing, wheels, pedals and everything, and even the high-end stuff such as motion. As you can see, this is a very different type of simulator, also a motion rig, also Thermaltake self-development. So that's very interesting indeed. Right, moving on, as we say hello to James Baldwin. How you doing, man?
Sorry, I'm
much appreciated. You can do again. We're gonna keep that in though. Yeah, then here on the right hand side, Volvo Elk. I have to admit, never heard of the company before. It looks quite spacey, their motion rig. Then something I'd be interested to get a run on, and I hope I can do it these days, is this Gravity Deck. This Gravity Deck is that entire scenery, and as you can see, you're not having the race screen right ahead of us. We're also having this as a gamepad, where you can see from the structure itself, you can also operate it with wheel and pedals. It's just, let's face it, the big movement of that stuff makes that rather difficult to, you know, like you would need to put your PC, your screen, everything in a safe space because of the multi-dimensional movement. But I hope I can get a run on this one, because this system looks interesting regarding the simulation of elevation, lift, tilt, everything. Then we are at the front of the stage. Here is where we see the program for tomorrow, actually, where we're also going to see podium discussions, where we see interviews, where we see all sorts of influencing as well. Then here we have the Sim Racing glove stand. This is, I think, an LMP3 car as far as I'm concerned. Looks a bit... Yes, look at me. Actually, being smart, it is an LMP3 car indeed. One that's also in the service. Sim Racing gloves. Sim Racing gloves in any variation that you can think of. You can buy them straight here, and you can pick them up as well. Then moving on, and I am trying to do this structured, I said. This is an interesting stand, which is why I'm quickly running around. RevoSim, got a couple of sims in here, got a couple of shifters, got a couple of handbrakes, and they are saying they're coming to consoles soon, so they will get their hardware ready to be plugged on your PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. Then XSim, also, I think, I'm not sure, self-developed. No, not self-developed, because we have a D-Box here, so probably a D-Box motion system, probably self-developed rig, chassis and geometries though. Interesting indeed. But yeah, I already mentioned it is very hardware overloaded. Then here on that stand we have D-Box in itself. So D-Box with their motion rig and motion sims. D-Box also with their systems, and I think they are partnered. Let me have a look. They are partnered with SimuCube as well for the hardware. Right. This is also part of D-Box, actually showcasing their technology. Some good weight. Like, I'd be great if I could lift the left-hand weight pedals. as easy as they can do. Right, then we go back in the next lane. Here on the right, we do see SimLab. SimLab with the steering wheels. SimLab also with the DDX26 torque sync. Appears to be their iteration of direct drive wheels. Lovely steering wheels, displays. My absolute favorite, the Mercedes F1 wheel. Pedals obviously, and more steering wheels. They have a total of 7 simulators here as far as I'm concerned, so very interesting indeed. On the left hand side, our friends from ImSim, you guys have seen us running a couple of times already on their simulator. They have, actually they put my number on it. Do you see the number 10? Incredible stuff. So I had a race on this Gara Carbono sim. It got a SimuCube, active pedals, it has 5-dimensional movements, it has a SimuCube 3, which is very crisp, and needless to say, the triple screen setup is a very much true triple screen. Then you've already seen a video, and in case you haven't, I have linked it to you in the top right corner right now. The Fanatec booth, this year with all sort of different sims, whether that is Formula type sims in the background, GT here in the front, or in the very front, actually go-karting. So very much different sims, very much different style of simulators. But the big talking point on this booth, and I quickly gonna try to finish my point real quick, greetings to those that always say I'm talking too much, has obviously been Assetto Corsa Rally being announced, and the new Fanatec podium pedals with a very interesting looking, and I'm mirroring myself, very interesting looking adjustability on the elastomers, right? And here on the other side with the Formula add-on possible, so carbon fiber look, also shaped plates, so your foot is not going to go anywhere when racing. Right, moving on then, on the left hand side we have SimMagic. They have a really big booth. They got 4 simulators, as you can see. Sorry, my voice is about to get effed. They have their hardware showcased there on the left. Obviously, you can also probably buy some of those, unless this is just packing material for the sim rigs here themselves. On the other side, there is a spot for streamers, and even more of their hardware. So a very interesting stand, very nice configured. And now you see also, which is why we have left them on our tour just a moment ago on the very outside lane. Right, moving on, and I'm starting to run a bit. On the left hand side we have the Simrace shop. Here you can get your hands on the stuff you wanted to always buy, and we're just waiting for commission on the Simracing Expo commission. Also a couple of rigs to try, cube controlled wheels, SimuCube 2 Pro as well, steering wheels over there from GSI, which interestingly GSI decided not to come here this year. Wonder whether that is a budget decision or something else. Then, greetings to Konstantinos for the lovely sim racing dash that we have over here, that we also see on this steering wheel. Anyway, those things are up for grabs on this shop. Then here on the left we have a Conspit. And Conspit has a very interesting combination of like GT kind of wheels, including a screen, including LEDs. You see here samples of the internal structure of the housing of the carbon fiber and aluminium main bodies. You can see samples of their steering wheels, how they are working, how they are shining, how they how they operate. On the right hand wall, a couple of pedals, all sort of standard pedals and all sort of load cell pedals, and then a very different iteration of sim. So having a small child, then your junior is able to get going with this rig. Maybe also with that one, although that looks a little bit more big already. And also like Formula 1 position. Speaking about Formula 1 position, we see this F1 type simulator. I don't see any motion on it, but that's fine. Like, I want to take a ride in it just for the gags. And then I think very interesting indeed, an Aston Martin GT3. And you can see the shape of the car. That car is coming straight off the racetrack. Moving on, on the right hand side, we see the Simulator Technik Lingnau. They are here with their actor races. And they also have a very special thing, which is this machine. It's moving a lot and it's incredibly loud. It's actually too loud, like you can hear it and almost speak about yourself or speak to yourself when you are at the other side of the hall. Generally speaking, as we see this booth, and then here on the left hand side, SimExpo with a Porsche with 3, 4, 5 different rigs and some hot lap challenges on the booth. As we see Simufy here on the next booth, showcasing their team, having 3, 4 simulators, showcasing their hardware in the background, having a proper building. And then here, of course, Azatec. Azatec showcasing once again an LMP3 car, I assume, this time with open bonnets. And isn't that looking lovely? So much technique to look at. Suspension, drivetrain, gearbox, engine obviously, air intakes. A real race car, bonnet off, diffuser from the back. It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Right, anyway, they are here with some rigs. As we see Marcus Solholm there in the middle rig, currently testing it out with the Ford on Project Motor Racing, that is. So this is the new game coming in November, currently being tested here by Marcus, as he waves to us. And then of course, and sadly there's just advertising on that wall, but here is, beyond that, Matt Malone, probably live streaming from the US right now. Then they have their products on their wall. It's just similar to last year, but now finally coming up, making my point, as we're looking into race room here in the next lane. I obviously don't want to, before going on to race room, I don't want to obviously miss out on these guys. They are having rigs down here. Arc Dynamics is with a big tent here, and like, look at those screens. What's the size of that screen, please? 77-inch triple screen setup. Like, I don't need to say anything to that. That just speaks for itself. And then here, I think we have Razer with, at least they're branded, or maybe even fully own developed simulator. Anyway, I'm coming back on the topic, speaking about the booths. The booths look great, the booths look awesome. They are very much organized, as we see here, another Porsche. I think that is the Porsche of, exactly, Tim Heinemann, who is also partly hosting this hot lap competition that has been going on here for the last couple of hours. They obviously have their hardware race room. They do have hardware with Usher Racing. They do have another GT3 car over there, which is a McLaren. This is also where Konstantinos from lovely sim racing dashboards is most of the time. So yeah, the booths, all of them looking great. They have awesome designs. This doesn't look like being an amateur place anymore, if it ever had, as we're also looking here at Solpec. They have their rims and steering wheels out and their displays, very shiny looking things. Lots of simulators to test the stuff as well. Here we can see perfectly aligned, perfectly designed screens, colors on the Sim Racing dash and so on. As we see Kirith currently on the phone.
How you doing?
Great. Yeah, so that is this stand. Going on on the SimuCube stand. So that is probably the big talking point here. SimuCube wheelbase SC3 being announced on the 6th of October, I believe. They are still selling the SC2, but of course it's interesting to see how the SC3 is working out here on the different simulators. They also have their wheel rims. They have a couple of simulators to test the stuff in. That is a very interesting one. Looks very close like a GT3 car from the Eau Rouge setup. Right, moving on. On the other side, we do have a Bavarian SimTech and Trek. You guys remember that wall from last year? They partly have done the same this year, showcasing their sim racing equipment. Looks great, looks gorgeous, but yeah, I mean, what can I say? As already mentioned, this is very hardware related, very much hardware focused here on Expo, as we see also different wheel decks and side mounts and wheel mounts, like also alloy rigs. As I mentioned, very much so hardware related. Then here we have a sync mesh with gloves, with steering wheels, with a motion rig here from Novus. I think we have a Super GT in here right now. So Steve currently testing it out. A 23,000 euro. Oh, hello. No way. Jimmy Broadbent here with a flex. A 636 while Steve was currently on it 2 seconds off. We're going to come back, see how that goes in the end.
Come back.
Okay, we leave it as it is. As far as I'm concerned, that is a Finnish company who is here. Business area, we see Michi in there, currently having a business talk. So that's looking great. Then we come on to Sabelt. And as you know, Sabelt is a manufacturer of seats, of cockpits and so on. And I think they have a very interesting gadget, isn't it? Like, imagine your name in your seat at home when racing. Quite a nice gimmick, isn't it? Anyway, that is it about Sabelt, really. So not too much into hardware. It is more about the seating position, different cushions, and that is really an interesting one. Let me know down in the comments area below, how is your perfect seat looking like? Does it have this type of cushions and pillows? Is it like rather one big pillow? Is it maybe not having a pillow that thick at all? Let me know. You guys know how much I do love Red Bull, right? Which is not very much in particular. However, having an F1 car in it's probably 2 or 3 years old, I assume it is, well, it says Max Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda. I'm not sure if that is this year's car, but just having an F1 car here is, I think, sick enough. Then we go on here on G-Tail Design and Couchmasters. They have a lot of, well, quick release extensions. Actually, quick release extensions are becoming more and more important as you need to look for compatibility for the very different aspects of hardware. Then these guys here, Couchmasters, they're coming actually close to where I live. They're coming from the Hockenheim ring, and to my understanding they do have an F1 car based on the 2005 regulations, and it's coming from the Technikmuseum in Speyer. So that is almost feeling like home. I hope to catch up with these guys. I want to take a ride in that booth and want to make sure to get a good experience. Speaking about experience, this is a familiar place for us. This is a familiar setup, and we have had this circle of simulators in Munich. in May 2022 with the first ever Rennsport Summit. The guys have brought 12 simulators with their simulation on, doing a full program here on the show, nicely set up booth. As I said, it just links perfectly into what I've said about all of these booths and all of these stations in the first place. Very well designed, very full of detail. Full of detail is PMR, and that is going to be something particular to look forward to, because PMR is going to release on November 25th. They have a total of 6 rigs here where you can pre-test the current build of Project Motor Racing. Here we have the picture, 25th of November. For those of you that do not know about Giants or Straight 4 Studios, which is doing the all that programming, you may know the Farming Simulator 19, 22 and 25. This is coming from the Giants. And speaking about Giant, they do have a Giant JCB tractor here, and they do have a very giant Audi LMP car sitting on the venue itself. And I have to admit, having driven this car in their game, this is so good fun. This car is really, really fun to drive. It is the most astonishing car so far that I've driven in PMR. Here we see a Lambo GT3, also in the name of Project Motorsport Race, Project Motor Racing. And then we come into these guys, and this is mind-blowing. These guys are here with their simulators, and you can see inside a helmet strapped with lignets. These simulator simulates G-forces on your neck. When braking, your head moves forwards, and you need to counteract with your neck the forces on it. This runs on ACC actually, and on Le Mans Ultimate. So you've been put on the balaclava, you get in-ear plugs, you get the helmet on, you get what else? You get the VR. I think an Oculus or a Quest 3 VR headset in order to enjoy the most immersive, let's say the most immersive G-force simulation on your head ever before. Right, so this is Giants. Already spoke about these guys. Then we're coming into, let's go with the third lane beforehand. As we see another Porsche Manthey, a very interesting car, a very interesting rear wing configuration. Like, this is not a standard GT3 car, and it's a GT3 RS, but more about that, well, I guess on car trade fair shows. But looking at this, is this like the 8th or 9th, 10th real car that we're seeing here? NASCAR, GT3, an old Alfa Romeo, F1 car, and it's getting even better for me personally, because we're entering the Cube Controls booth. Obviously, Cube Controls, steering wheels, and all sort of equipment for that. They only have one simulator though, but they do offer that, well, it's closed now, but they do offer that Mercedes AMG Motorsport pit stop challenge. So you and your mate can pick up a pit stop, and you can compete across or against the clock. How quick can you change that front left tire? More cars you want to see? Then we have the GT3 here, the Ford GT3 of Fabio Scherer, again on the booth that we've already quickly seen. Then here on the right hand side we do have Huizinfeld with 3 simulators, a new steering wheel with a screen, as they've just shortly announced it, and actually some nice key stickers. So I'm gonna take one of these. You guys know about the pedals, you guys know how much happy I am with my pedals. So if anything, Niels, if you're listening, I don't know if you do, but if you do, I'm waiting for your first iteration of active pedals. Then we have the GT Omega stand with a signature here of this guy.
You should buy this, guys.
I should buy this?
This is objectively the best rig on the market, alright?
I so much agree because it has your autograph.
I'd buy it.
So it is very much unique indeed. Musa racing gear, a big over diamonds GT Omega seat. Here on the left hand side, SRP with hardware, pedals mainly as far as I'm concerned, and handbrakes. I think this is where they're at. Then we do see ADAC here on the right hand side. They are still here despite not officially sponsoring Simracing Expo within their name anymore. More race cars, just in case we haven't seen enough race cars just yet. And then there is the Sim Magic booth with literally all sorts of stuff. Sim Magic, direct drive, screens, Solipec screens, steering wheels, active pedal as far as I can see. More pedals, more wheelbases, all sorts of stuff. 3 or 4 simulators, a little bit more of showcasing. This looks a bit, maybe not the most organized booth. And then we're coming close to an end, and I need to really run. Here we see Virtual Coach, a Grid and Go. They have a very, very small booth here in the left-hand side area. I think it's a mainly iRacing based service for coaching with Sven Haase. I was speaking about cars, a GT Omega. I think that is a KTM, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, KTM here on the fuel bonnet. I don't know what kind of. This looks flamboyant from the back, doesn't it? Good stuff. Right, Porsche GT4 car, Max More Technology Group. I think some hardware there as well. Somehow that stand doesn't really look moderated. Then one of the last booths, this is Track Racer, and they have a 60OF motion rig, which I'm going to test together with our former engineer Bono from Vero Motion. And as here's also one of the Vero Motion actuators in charge, in action. And then last but not least, the last 2 booths to check out. Case King Nitro Concepts. The guys here from Germany mainly, but also a lot of celebrities on here. Jardier in the rig, David Rodriguez, Luke Whitehead currently racing. Then here in the background we do see Marco Bischoff, the Marbix. I've seen Henrik Gambal, I've seen Basti Richter, I think. Then I've seen Niklas Huben. They have a very nice looking rig. Here you can also try PMR. Here you can try Musa, and I think even SimUcube SC3 wheelbases, exactly that. And then last but not least, guys, you've seen the NASCAR before. The BS Plus competition booth with Florian Hasper here. eNASCAR Euro Series, actually telling the story of Garrett Lowe, multiple race winner in both, I think the eNASCAR Series, and also now driving on the real racetrack in NASCAR. Guys, that's it. That's Simracing Expo 2025. I hope you've enjoyed the walkover. Let me know anything you want to know about the things that we've just seen, that we've just talked about. Let me know anything I should maybe try for you if you're interested, and put it down in the comments area below. Guys, thanks for watching and have a great weekend. Bye bye.